A warm welcome. You're tuned into Eye on Africa. I'm Rochelle, Ferguson, Bouyahi. These are the top stories. We're just over a fortnight to go before voters head to the polls. DR Congo's Electoral Commission defends the use of electronic voting machines. Campaigning, meanwhile, is in full swing. Business owners in Cameroon are left millions of CFAs out of pocket following the CAF's decision to strip the country of the right to host the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations. Our correspondents report on that from Yaoundé. Also coming up in the programme is one of the strongest men in the world, and Burkina Faso's Biby says he's got his eye set on smashing a world record. He also wants to inspire younger generations. We take you first to DR Congo, where preparations for crucial elections to replace President Joseph Kabila are scheduled for a little over 2 weeks' time now. Well, earlier this Friday, the country's Electoral Commission defended the use of electronic voting machines in the polls. The machines have been met with scepticism by some of the candidates vying for DR Congo's top job. Election campaigning, meanwhile, is in full swing, as France 24's Laurent Bursticker now explains.
Standing its ground despite months of controversy, the DRC's Electoral Commission continued Friday to back the use of electronic voting machines for the upcoming presidential election.
We want the winner, the best man, to win. This machine will prevent any cheating attempts, like we've seen in 2011 and 2006.
One of the voting machine's harshest critics, Martin Fayulu, has repeatedly denounced an attempt by the ruling party to rig the election. He recently rejected claims by the Electoral Commission that the machines will simply be used to identify the candidates and print the ballots, but not to count votes. Yet despite his reservations, the Geneva coalition candidate says he will not boycott the December polls. Another frontrunner, Félix Tshisekedi, accused Fayulu earlier this week of trying to delay the election by stirring controversy around the voting machines. The son of historical opposition figure Etienne Tshisekedi was initially against their use, but changed his mind in October. 18 other candidates are also in the running, including Emmanuel Ramazani Shadari, the designated successor of President Joseph Kabila, who's not eligible to run himself. The election, which has been repeatedly delayed since Kabila's second term officially ended in December 2016, should now take place on December 23rd.
Well, in an interview with the Belgian daily Le Soir, President Joseph Kabila has said DR Congo plans to officially request the return of works of art from its former colonial power, Belgium. Kabila's comments come as the Royal Museum of Central Africa near Brussels reopens its doors. The site houses one of the largest collections of African art in the world. Meanwhile, Congo's new National Museum is set to open its doors in 2019. Last month, a report commissioned by France's Emmanuel Macron found that 90% of African cultural heritage currently exists outside of the continent. Now, a look at some other stories making headlines on the continent in a move expected to improve the lives of 6 million South Africans. President Cyril Ramaphosa has confirmed a landmark minimum wage bill to become law as of January the 1st. Well, that bill stipulates that the lowest paid workers will receive a minimum of 20 rand, that's just over €1 an hour. The ruling ANC hope that the move, along with initiatives to lower taxes on key food staples, will appeal to the traditional electoral base. Elections, of course, scheduled for May 2019. Zambia's top court has ruled that President Edgar Lungu is eligible to run for re-election in 2021. An opposition party had argued that President Lungu would exceed the constitution's two-term limit. He was first elected in 2015 following the death of ex-President Michael Sata. Due to elections being scheduled for the following year, that's 2016, the court found that Lungu had only effectively served for a year and a half. Now, a week after Cameroon was stripped of the right to host the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations, business owners in the country say they're struggling to come to terms with that decision. Well, some have invested millions of CFA in the hope of making a big profit during the tournament. The question now for many is how to recover what they've spent so far. Our correspondents report from Yaoundé.
Construction works at this hotel in the heart of Yaoundé is almost at a standstill. Management had planned to step up the hotel's capacity from 72 to 180 rooms ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations. Françoise is the owner of the facility. She is still to come to terms with CAF's decision to strip Cameroon of hosting the event.
We're very disappointed to see that the African Nations Cup will not take place here. We invested a lot, and I had sleepless nights. The hotel renovation cost us 9 billion Central African francs, and of course we would not have been able to profit in the first month, but the hotel would have gained visibility among tourists in Cameroon.
Restaurant owners in Yaoundé are also feeling the pinch. At the St. Anastasie Park, which plays host to hundreds of clients daily, management, headed by Maite, was ready for good business with the coming of the Africa Cup of Nations.
We have 3 dining areas, one here, another over there. I could have even set up a restaurant in the park as long as it brought us money. So I bought all the equipment to get started. I spent millions of francs on this. Who's going to reimburse me? I will have to make do with my regular customers because we will no longer profit from the cup.
The big question now is who is to blame and who's going to pay for the losses. Experts like Idriss Linguet think sole proprietor business owners who do not insure their activities will have difficulties getting any form of compensation.
This is the chance to remind entrepreneurs that they have to be professional when it comes to investing. They have to get insurance. Unfortunately, in Africa, people open businesses without getting insured against potential risks. And when the risks don't pay off, they're the ones to lose.
Despite the odds, there is a glimmer of hope for Cameroon in the midst of all this. The Confederation of African Football has made public plans for letting Cameroon host the following Africa Cup of Nations in 2021.
And finally, Burkina Faso's Biby says he's one of the strongest men in the world and has his sights firmly set on a world record. As a child, though, it wasn't always easy for him, and he was often teased for his size. Biby says he now wants to inspire younger generations with his story.
1.90 tall and weighing 180 kilos, Sheikh Ahmed Al Hassan Sanu, or Biby, is one of the strongest athletes in the world. He hails from Bobo Dioulasso in western Burkina Faso.
Currently, I am recognized as one of the strongest when it comes to shoulder strength, and it's hard for someone to top me in this challenge.
Crowned world champion of the log lift after lifting 213 kilos with his shoulders, Biby's bulky build has not always been easy to live with, especially as a young boy.
Very often kids of his build are violent. They beat up other children. But he, on the contrary, is very kind, very sweet, so children often made fun of him.
Today, Biby is inspiring other young people to pursue their athletic dreams.
I love Biby because he's strong and kind. I would like to follow his example.
On his return to Burkina Faso from international competitions, the athlete is given a hero's welcome. Now the strongman wants to use his influence for good in his home country.
My main project in Burkina Faso is to create a sports center for all athletes, not just in my field and not just in Bobo Dioulasso, everywhere in Burkina Faso, and also to develop dietary supplements because there is a lack of protein here.
Biby's next heavy lifting challenge is not one to be taken lightly. He aims to smash the world record for the log lift, a whopping 228-kilo test.
Biby there, you have it. Your up-to-date Iron Africa team is back in about 45 minutes' time. Up next, though, Sharon Gaffney's here with more international headlines. Stay tuned. This is France 24.